we're going to learn Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, step by step. This is going to be fun. Let's do it. Hi, I'm Tomas Michaud from Real Guitar Success, where I help you to learn guitar and, more importantly, to love your guitar learning journey. Let's start out with the chords that we're going to use for the verse. Then I'll show you that iconic fingerpicking pattern, which in and of itself is worth learning. And then finally, we'll do the chorus and put it all together. We're going to play this song with the capo on the 3rd fret. Now, I'm going to call the chords out as if there were no capo. So in other words, this I'll call a C chord. Even though, because I moved it up 1, 2, 3 frets, it's actually going to sound like an E flat, right? So I do this because I want to play in the same key as the recording, and I want to teach it to you that way. That way, if you play with a YouTube video, it'll be in the same key. So the first chord is a C chord, a basic folk style C. I've got my first finger on the 1st fret, and then over to the 4th string, 2nd fret, and the 5th string, 3rd fret. Now I'm going to move down to a G by putting my 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. That is not a G note, it's a B. We're playing a G with a B in the bass, or also known as G/B. I've got my pinky down here covering the D note. That's the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So it sounds like this. Very useful chord, by the way. Now I'm going from there to an A minor. 1st finger, 1st fret, 2nd string, and then the 2nd finger over here on the 4th string, 2nd fret. It's just like a C without the 3rd finger. And the bass note is the 5th string, A minor 7 to be exact. So that's the entire verse. It goes C to the G with the B in the bass, the A minor 7, then back to that G with the B in the bass, and keeps cycling through the entire verse. So practice those chords a little bit, then we're ready for the finger picking. Okay, I trust you've done what you need to do. We'll start with the C chord. And it's the exact same pattern throughout, so I'm going to show you what it looks like with the C, and you'll be able to do the same exact pattern on the same strings with the other 3 chords. So we'll start off with a thumb on the 5th string. Go ahead and place it with me. Follow along. We'll have the 3rd finger planted on the 3rd string and the 2nd finger planted on the 2nd string. I'm going to use numbers to help you remember which finger to pull off. The numbers represent the strings, not the fingers. So now, when I say 5, that means the 5th string. So we're going to start with 5, that's the 5th string. 3, that's the 3rd string. 4, I'm using a thumb again. And then 2, that's the 2nd finger on the 2nd string. And then it repeats that, 5, 3, 4, and there's a pause right there. So together it sounds like this. 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, pause. 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, pause. A little faster. I've created a whole separate video for just this finger picking pattern, and I'll put a link to that up in one of these corners. I'm not sure which one. It'll go slower and help you work on it if you're new to this. If you've been playing for a while, this might come really easy. I'm going to show you what it sounds like with the chord changes now. We'll start with the C, the G, remember with a B in the bass, to the A minor 7, then back to the G. Listen. Starts over. Okay, so that's the verse, and if you're fairly comfortable with that, you're 80% of the way through the song. Really, the chords and that pattern are most of the song. But there is a few more chords in the chorus, so let's do those now. We'll start with a D with an F sharp in the bass, and it looks like this. We'll put the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then the pinky down here on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So this is a simpler form of this chord, the D with the F sharp in the bass. The F sharp is that low 6th string, 2nd fret. The next chord is a G, in a very simple form. We're just going to take the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret. Since we're not playing the high E string, we don't need to cover that. And then finally, we're going to do an E minor. You can do the regular simple form that you're used to, the low E in the bass. I've got my 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger right next to it on the 4th string. Let me mention that you're not actually going to strike the 5th string, so you could just take that 2nd finger off. But for me, it's easier to just play that E minor the way I'm used to playing it. Now, let me show you that chord pattern. We'll start from the C, from the verse, to the G, to the A minor, 7. And here's where it transitions to the chorus. It goes to the D with the F sharp and the bass, then to a G chord, back to that D, to an E minor. And we're going to do the E minor twice as long, or 2 measures. Then to the verse chords, the C, we're not in the verse, but it's the same chords. G with the B, A minor 7, and then it kind of does that same transition thing again to the D with the F sharp. G, D, E minor again, 2 measures, to the C. Now we're going back into the verse, and it starts cycling again. On the album, it goes into a solo there. Live, they do something a little bit different. Now I'll show you the chords with the fingerpicking pattern. So we'll start from the verse. And here's the transition to that D, G, D, E minor 2 times, the C again, G, A minor 7, to the D again. We're repeating. Now we're back in the verse. And so on. I want to show you one little embellishment that you could add when you're ready. We're going to start with the C. And when we pause there, instead of just leaving a space, pull off with your 2nd finger. And then onto the G. Same thing on the A minor 7. So that pull off actually adds another note, but it also gets you ready to go on to the next chord. So it sounds a little faster like this. Completely optional. So that's it for this lesson. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that little bell so I can make sure and send you my new lessons and tips. I look forward to seeing you again in another lesson soon. And in the meantime, remember, learning guitar is a journey, not a destination. Let me know how I can better help you to love your guitar playing journey. Bye for now.